Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be diving into something I've been thinking about a lot lately. It's this whole idea of manifesting your dream life while you sleep. So we're going to be looking at a specific guided sleep meditation. It's called Manifest Your Dream Life Whilst You Sleep from the Love to Meditate platform. And get this, it's got over 101,000 plays and a 4.6-star rating from over 2,000 reviews. That's wild.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot of people who are interested in this. It seems like this whole idea of shaping our reality through our thoughts is really fascinating to people, especially while we sleep.
Yeah, totally. Can we really just use the power of our minds to create the life we want? I mean, the meditation basically tells you to vividly picture your dream life before you fall asleep, like your house, your relationships, your achievements, everything. And the idea is that by doing that, you imprint these desires on your subconscious mind while you're sleeping. But does that really work?
Well, it's tapping into a very real thing, the power of visualization. I mean, think about it. Athletes use visualization to improve their performance. Therapists use it to help patients overcome their fears. Even business leaders use it to strategize. When you repeatedly visualize something you want, you're basically training your brain to recognize opportunities and act in ways that bring you closer to that vision.
Okay, so there's real science behind it. It's not just some mystical woo-woo stuff. But how does sleep come into play? Is our subconscious mind more receptive when we're asleep?
That's the idea. When you're awake, your conscious mind is constantly filtering information and making decisions, right? But when you sleep, that filter loosens up a bit and your subconscious becomes more open to suggestion. There's research being done on this. But some studies suggest that the hypnagogic state, that hazy period right before you fall asleep, and REM sleep when we dream, those times might be particularly receptive to visualizations.
So it's planting seeds of intention as you drift off, and then they take root in your subconscious overnight?
Okay, I love that imagery. But hold on, I'm hearing some skepticism from our listener out there. They're wondering does this mean I just have to visualize myself winning the lottery and it'll magically happen?
That's a great question. And it brings up a really important point about visualization. It's not a magic wand. It doesn't grant wishes without effort. It's more like a GPS for your dreams. It can help you clarify your goals, stay focused, and recognize opportunities. But you still have to do the driving.
Okay, so visualization can point us in the right direction, but we still need to take action to get there. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But speaking of taking action, the meditation uses a really interesting question format. It prompts you to ask yourself, what would it look like if I had everything I wanted? And then it guides you to really visualize those answers.
I like that. It encourages active engagement instead of just passive listening. It asks you to define your own version of a dream life, which is a really powerful exercise. Yeah, totally. Reading through the listener reviews, I was struck by how differently people responded to this meditation. One person said they fell asleep right away but planned to re-listen, while another was so excited by their visualizations that they couldn't sleep.
Yeah, it's really interesting how different we all are. What works for one person might not work for another. And that's totally fine. The key is to find what resonates with you.
Okay, so let's talk about the science for a minute. I have to admit, even though I'm intrigued, I'm a bit skeptical. Is there really evidence to support this idea that visualizing during sleep can lead to real-world results?
So the scientific evidence directly linking sleep state visualization to manifestation, well, that's still emerging. But there is some fascinating research on the power of visualization in general. For example, studies have shown that visualization can activate similar brain regions as actually performing those actions.
Wait, so if I'm visualizing myself giving a killer presentation, my brain is firing in a similar way as if I were actually doing it. That's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that neural activity can lead to improved performance and goal achievement in the real world. It's like giving your brain a dress rehearsal.
Okay, that makes the whole idea of sleep visualization seem a lot less far-fetched. But let's be real for a second. A lot of these manifest your dream life ideas seem to focus on material possessions and financial wealth. Is that really the key to a happy life?
That's a good point. This particular meditation does mention material abundance, but it also emphasizes emotional well-being, strong relationships, and a sense of purpose, which are all essential for a fulfilling life.
So it's not just about having a fancy car or a big house.
No, not at all. It's about creating a life that feels authentic and aligned with your values. It's about using abundance in all its forms to create a positive impact on your life and the lives of others.
I like that. It's about more than just stuff. It's about crafting a life that feels truly aligned with who you are. So far, we've established that visualization, even during sleep, could have an impact on our thoughts and actions. The scientific evidence is still developing, but there's enough to suggest it's worth exploring. Plus, just believing in the process can have positive psychological effects. But we've only scratched the surface. We've got so much more to unpack, so stay tuned.
It's interesting to think about how this whole concept of visualization has been around for like centuries, woven into all these spiritual and philosophical traditions.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's not just some trendy self-help thing. I mean, like the ancient Egyptians used visualization techniques, right?
Oh, absolutely. They believed it was key to manifesting desires and influencing events. I mean, think about the pyramids and the temples. It's crazy to think they used visualization to like bring those visions to life.
Yeah, wow. And weren't the ancient Greeks big on visualization too, especially for athletics?
Oh, definitely. They saw it as a way to like enhance performance and achieve victory. Even Plato talked about its power to shape our thoughts and actions. And it wasn't just the West either. Visualization has played a central role in Eastern traditions too, like Hinduism, Buddhism, and Taoism.
So it's this like universal tool that's been used for personal transformation and spiritual growth across cultures and throughout history. It's like we're tapping into this ancient wisdom when we practice it today.
Exactly. And what's really cool is that even though the cultural expressions might differ, the core principles of visualization remain pretty consistent. It's always about like creating a clear mental picture, focusing your intention, and believing the possibility of achieving your desired outcome.
Okay, I'm getting chills. This is making me want to ramp up my visualization practice. But I'm curious, like how did visualization evolve from those ancient practices to the more modern applications we see today?
Well, there wasn't like one single moment where it shifted from mystical to mainstream. But I think a key turning point was the rise of the New Thought movement in the early 20th century. They really emphasized the power of thought to shape reality. And they saw visualization as like a powerful tool for personal empowerment.
Oh, okay, so that sounds like kind of a precursor to the whole self-help movement. Was that when ideas like the law of attraction started to become popular?
Exactly. And while the law of attraction might sound a bit mystical to some, it actually aligns with some modern psychological principles, like the placebo effect and self-fulfilling prophecies. If you believe something strongly enough, it can influence your actions and even your outcomes.
I see. So basically, even if the magic of manifestation isn't fully proven, the simple act of believing in it can create a more positive and proactive mindset.
Precisely. And as the 20th century progressed, visualization started to gain recognition in more fields, like psychology, sports business. It went from being a primarily spiritual or mystical practice to a more widely accepted tool for personal growth.
And then when scientific research started to like shed light on how the brain works during visualization, it became even more mainstream, right?
Yeah. Neuroscientists discovered that our brains often can't distinguish between real and imagined experiences, especially when those imagined experiences are vivid and emotionally charged. That finding gave visualization a lot more credibility.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like our brains are being tricked into thinking our visualizations are real, which then triggers all these physiological and psychological responses. So it seems like visualization has come full circle from its ancient roots to modern science. And that's what makes it so powerful, right?
Absolutely. It's this beautiful blend of ancient wisdom and modern science. It connects us to this long line of humans who have used visualization to create meaningful lives.
Okay, I'm totally on board with exploring visualization more. But I think it's important to acknowledge that it's not like the only path to personal growth and fulfillment. Like, what are some other approaches that our listeners might find helpful?
That's a great point. There are so many different philosophies and practices out there. One that comes to mind is Stoicism, which emphasizes accepting what we can't control and focusing on what we can.
Ah, the Stoics. They were all about cultivating inner strength and virtue, right? So instead of trying to manipulate the universe through visualization, they focused on developing their character and living in accordance with nature.
Exactly. They believed that true happiness comes from within, from aligning our desires with the natural order of things. It's about finding peace and tranquility no matter what's going on around you.
I can see how that could be a powerful antidote to the pressure of like manifesting a perfect life. It's about finding contentment in the present moment.
Precisely. Another interesting perspective comes from the Buddhist tradition. They emphasize mindfulness and non-attachment. Instead of trying to force specific outcomes, Buddhism encourages us to just be present in each moment and to detach from the results of our actions.
So it's about letting go of the need to control everything and accepting that life is constantly changing. It's a very different approach to visualization.
It is. But both approaches have their own wisdom. Visualization can help us clarify our goals and inspire action, while the Buddhist perspective reminds us to be present and accept that change is inevitable.
Okay, I see how those two philosophies offer different but valuable insights. What other perspectives do you think would be helpful for our listeners?
Well, we can't forget about positive psychology, which has become really popular in recent years. This field focuses on cultivating positive emotions, building strong relationships, and finding meaning and purpose in life.
Yeah, positive psychology is all about focusing on what makes us thrive, right? So instead of just visualizing our desired outcomes, it encourages us to appreciate the good things we already have and to cultivate a positive mindset.
Exactly. It's about shifting our focus from what's wrong to what's right, from what we lack to what we already have. And it's not about ignoring negative emotions or pretending everything is perfect. It's about recognizing that we have a choice in how we respond to life's challenges.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we've got Stoicism for inner strength, Buddhism for mindfulness, and positive psychology for cultivating happiness. Any other perspectives we should mention?
One final approach I think is worth mentioning is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. It emphasizes the connection between our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors.
I've heard of CBT, but I'm not sure how it relates to manifesting our dream lives.
CBT recognizes that our thoughts have a huge impact on how we feel and what we do. If we're constantly thinking negative or limiting thoughts, those thoughts can sabotage our efforts, even if we're practicing visualization.
Oh, I see. So it's not enough to just visualize our desires. We also need to address any negative beliefs that might be holding us back.
Exactly. CBT offers practical tools for identifying and changing those negative thought patterns. It helps us replace those thoughts with more positive and helpful ones.
I like that. It's about empowering ourselves by taking control of our thoughts. So we've got a pretty diverse range of approaches here. Stoicism, Buddhism, positive psychology, and CBT. That's a lot to think about.
It is. But I think the key takeaway is that there's no one right way to live a fulfilling life. It's about finding what resonates with you and using those tools to become the best version of yourself.
Well said. So whether you're drawn to visualization, ancient wisdom, or modern psychology, the important thing is to be intentional about your growth and to cultivate qualities that bring you joy and meaning. But I want to bring it back to that original question we started with, the whole manifest your dream life concept. What are your thoughts on that now after exploring all these different perspectives? Is it actually possible?
That's the million-dollar question. I think it's a blend of possibility and pragmatism. There's no denying that our thoughts and beliefs have a powerful impact on our experiences. But we also have to acknowledge that life is influenced by factors beyond our control.
So you're saying it's not as simple as just thinking positive thoughts and waiting for the universe to deliver.
Right. It's about finding that balance between taking responsibility for our own lives and accepting that we can't control everything. It's not about passivity or giving up on our dreams. It's about embracing the journey and making the most of the opportunities that come our way.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. So while manifesting a perfect life might be a bit of an oversimplification, there's still value in setting intentions, cultivating a positive mindset, and taking consistent action towards our goals.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe in the process of pursuing our dreams, we'll discover that the journey itself is just as rewarding as the destination.
That's a great point. But you know what? We've covered so much ground already, and we still haven't really talked about that specific sleep meditation from Love to Meditate. Let's do a quick recap of what we've learned about visualization, and then dive back into the meditation with fresh eyes.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so let's do like a quick recap for our listeners. We've talked about how visualization can be a powerful tool for personal growth.
Yeah.
And it's backed by ancient wisdom and modern science.
Yeah. We've also explored all those different philosophical perspectives like Stoicism, Buddhism, positive psychology, highlighting that there are so many paths to fulfillment.
Right, and we've touched on the importance of addressing any limiting beliefs that we might have, those that might be holding us back, using techniques like CBT.
Exactly. With all that in mind, let's circle back to that manifest your dream life whilst you sleep meditation and see how it all connects.
Perfect. I'm ready. One thing that really stood out to me about this meditation was its use of questions. It asks things like, what would it look like if you had everything you wanted? And what would your ideal day feel like?
Yeah, I think that's a really smart way to do it. It gets the listener to actively participate, instead of just passively listening to affirmations. It helps you define your own vision of a dream life based on your values and what you want.
Totally. It's not about fitting into some predefined box of success, but about creating a vision that really speaks to you. And remember, it goes beyond just material things. It wants you to visualize your relationships, your purpose, even how you feel emotionally and physically.
Right. It's about creating a picture of a life that feels fulfilling on all those different levels.
Yeah.
Some people might worry that they're setting themselves up for disappointment if those things don't happen.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's all about balance, right? Optimism and realism. Visualization is a tool, not some magical guarantee. It's about setting intentions, not just waiting for results to appear.
Exactly. The meditation even tells you to think big and ask for anything, which might seem a bit strange.
I was wondering about that. How does thinking big fit into this whole thing?
Well, visualization is a creative process. Sometimes we have to push past our limits and imagine what's possible. By allowing ourselves to think big, we open ourselves up to opportunities we may have never considered.
I like that. It's like giving ourselves permission to dream, even if every little detail doesn't become reality. The point is to expand our horizons and see what could be.
Exactly. It all comes back to belief. Even if you don't believe in manifesting while you sleep, just trying visualization can shift your mindset in a positive way. You might start to notice new opportunities, or you might feel more inspired to go after your goals.
So the act of visualizing itself can create positive change. That's powerful.
It is. And you combine that with how receptive your subconscious mind is during sleep. There's a real chance those intentions can take root and impact your waking life.
I can see why the sleep meditation is so popular. It's like giving your subconscious mind a blueprint for the life you want.
Exactly. Think of it as a nudge in the right direction, a way to align your inner and outer worlds.
Well, this has been a really interesting deep dive. We went from ancient Egypt to neuroscience. We look at philosophy and even the mysteries of sleep.
It's amazing how it all comes together and shows us the power of the human mind.
So if you're listening and you're interested in trying this meditation, here's what I would say. Be open-minded. Be clear about your intentions. And be patient.
And remember, even if you don't see every detail of your dream life come true, the process is really rewarding in itself. It helps you reflect on yourself, cultivate a positive mindset, and empowers you to take action towards your goals.
So well put. This is the end of our deep dive for today. But the exploration continues. Keep dreaming, keep visualizing, and keep diving deep into the world around you and within you.
See you next time.